And while we're getting into the game, I suppose we'll give a special thank you, of course, to Search Engine Revs for sponsoring this tournament. We also really appreciate that. And, well, the Viper has been putting on one hell of a show so far throughout these first two games. It's going to be up to RiuT to try and step it up and turn this series around, and he certainly has the ability to do so. It looks like it's going to be Islands.
Yeah, game number 3 here, the killer game. This is so important. RiuT has to win this game, otherwise Viper will take this best of 5 in a 3-0 victory. And let's be honest here, we don't really want to see that, do we? We really want to see RiuT get a comeback, because we want to see more games, of course. But yeah, Viper here 2-0 currently, and his home map now, which is Islands, and he is up to the north of the map in the blue with team colours on. He's playing as the Vikings, of course. And down to the south of the map in the red, we have RiuT playing as the Vikings as well.
All right, guys in the chat, RiuT's gonna need your energy. So everybody, send RiuT some love. He can do this. He might still be able to even out this series. And
yeah.
Oh, it's going to be a Vikings mirror match on the water, so it really comes down here to some clean execution and micro once we get into those galley fights.
Well, what I would say here is, RiuT is one of those players, he's incredibly fast. I don't know if he's got a higher APM than the Viper. I mean, maybe the spectator dashboard could give us some indication of that. But yeah, RiuT is an incredibly fast player, and a lot of galley wars, a lot of water maps really rely on speed and efficiency. Two of the biggest things. And if RiuT here is able to micro his galleys really well, he might be able to get himself the upper hand with a little bit of strong galley micro. But one of the things that redeems Viper here is, although yes, he has insane micro, he's also able to manage his economy just as well at the same time. And one thing that players struggle with on islands, and one thing that makes the skill cap so high on water maps, is the ability to manage your economy while simultaneously doing everything in your power to keep your galleys alive and do as much damage with your galleys with that micromanagement. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that comes into play, a lot of small things in islands and water wars that sets players apart.
Yep, and especially, of course, besides control, we do have some differences in the map here. On one hand, I like the Viper's map a bit better in that I think his island is a little bit nicer shaped. I think it's much, a lot harder to actually harass his town center and villagers on the water, but RiuT should probably be able to get like a better dock placement, so he might get a lot more value out of his fishing ships. We'll have to see what's more important.
Yeah, definitely, and like you say, I mean, Viper's map is quite nice because it's a big blob. It's not really long and spindly. His gold is really safe and sound, right in the center of the map, tucked away. I think players probably prefer to have a circular island rather than a long, stretched out island. But like you said, the dock is certainly something that is going to be interesting here. And you see Viper's dock position, it's not great. He doesn't have access to many fish here. He's got one big fish and one little shore fish, and that is about it. And I hear a dead villager as well. I think Viper just lost one. Oh my goodness.
Did he just lose a villager?
I swear he just lost a villager. I heard that, maybe, no. He did. He must have lost a villager there, or his scout. Is this scout alive? His scout's alive. He must have just lost a villager. I don't see it, but maybe behind the TC. He's down a vill.
Yeah, I don't see the skeleton, but yeah, he is down a vill. So one of them just ended up disappearing, and well, there are a couple interesting things to keep in mind with islands, is that, for starters, harvesting from that shorefish is incredibly inefficient. It's really slow, so it's all about putting your dock in a place where you can snag some of that delicious, nutritious crayfish marlin, grab some tuna, and also both players are trying to use their scout here to go lure in the boar rather than a villager, just again to save a little bit of idle time, and plus, you don't really need to use your scout offensively here, so the hit points in it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, I think RiuT here, off to an interesting start. He managed to push those deer in nice and quick, but look at this. His boar's about to finish up, and his sheep, well, he's only just found his last 4 sheep here, so I think they're just going to make it to the TC in time. Wow, that was incredibly close right there. But I'd go as far as say RiuT's had a much better start. He's up to the feudal age a little faster here. He's got the villager advantage as well. Viper did indeed lose that villager near the TC. I can only assume it was behind the town center. But RiuT here off to the start that he needs in order to get himself potentially get himself this game. He's got himself the 4 fishing ships. He's got a better fishing area, like you say. Things are looking good for RiuT right now. That is for sure. So we'll have to see if he can keep that.
This might be exactly what he needs to claw his way back in the series. Yeah, if we do check the KDAs for both players, the Viper did actually lose that villager, and a 16-second lead to the feudal age is actually pretty significant when both players are going for galleys, and the Viper going to put another dock at the back. Even though this one's so close to the edge of the map, he will actually have a couple pieces of fish there.
Yeah, what's interesting here as well is Viper's actually made an additional fishing ship, and they've actually been kind of idle. It's not uncommon in islands to see a 5 fishing ship built, but even this second dock doesn't unlock that many more fish. It's still not, a huge amount of fish for him. It's awkward, but since he's built his dock on the back here, we can maybe expect to see a little bit more of a defensive playstyle from Viper. Maybe he'll add even a 6th fishing ship or something like that, but one thing is for sure, he is playing a little more defensively with these back docks, and that really is the total opposite to what RiuT is doing here with his forward docks, and perhaps we'll see RiuT managing to get really aggressive here, and I expect we'll see Viper just patrolling by his docks, trying to protect his fish, and maybe get a slight edge with that 1 extra fishing ship he's got working there.
Yeah, and the real question is, exactly how much fish is there to protect? The answer is not that much, whereas RiuT certainly gains, I think, a little bit more from playing on the offensive because he does have some closer fish. He's going to get his 3rd dock out just a little bit sooner, thanks to getting to the feudal age a little bit earlier and just being a villager ahead. And now, RiuT is on his way to move forward, and he's prepping for the attack.
Yeah, he's also doing the 4th dock a little earlier than Viper, and I think you should notice as well, he's got 5 villagers on gold here. Viper sending over the 5th now, but it was quite a bit later, so you can kind of see the small differences here, the very small differences, with Viper seemingly a little further behind. I'd also like to point out that RiuT has more sheep underneath the TC, which means that, he's going to have maybe a little bit of a better time here. When he's starting to have to take more food. His sheep are going to last a little longer. It's going to be a little later before he has to build the mill on the berries, and the longer you can delay that mill, I think the better as well. And Viper here, going to be caught out 3-on-1 at the moment. RiuT could do a lot of early damage and maybe get the advantage he needs to really start hammering home an advantage at the back.
Yeah, both players are actually going to walk the opposite directions with each other's navy. The Viper sending 2 of his galleys on the left side, but RiuT has his scout positioned in the right way. He will see those galleys coming in, and he might be able to keep his scout alive. Meanwhile, RiuT moving in at the back, but the Viper has that home field advantage. He should be able to clean this up.
Yeah, of course, and he did get the early advantage there. He did manage to do a lot of damage to one of those galleys whilst Viper retreated. He picks a galley and he gets out, and like you say, that home field advantage going to be quite beneficial to the Viper, hence the back docks, hence the probably fairly defensive play near his fishing ships. But one thing to note here is Viper lost his scout. RiuT, he kept his scout alive. He's keeping that dream alive there with 4 HP, and maybe Viper will pick that off, but ooh, I think that's interesting.
And speaking of the scout getting picked off, I do think that is very interesting, as the scout will allow you to give yourself plenty of map vision, so that way you know where your opponent's galleys are at all time. But unfortunately, it looks like RiuT will end up losing his scout. Another reason why RiuT ended up pulling out there is that he did not have the fletching upgrade, but the Viper had it, and now RiuT does have fletching. He has a decisive galley lead at the top. Can he clean this up before the Viper spawns more galleys?
Maybe, but the thing is here, like Viper, like you say, what fish is he protecting? There is no fish back here for Viper to take. He's coming around the left side again, no big fish at all. RiuT here moving in, we might see a little engagement. The question is, does RiuT have the upper hand in galleys? I'd almost say yes, as Viper retreats back, loses a galley in the process, and maybe here RiuT is going to get himself a nice little early advantage. This is looking good for him right now, as Viper loads up a transport on the left-hand side.
Ooh. See, RiuT's doing his best to try and camp the production of the Viper, make it so that he has to keep his galleys inside the docks, and the Viper prepping for the worst-case scenario here. Grabbing loom, that way RiuT's galleys will not be able to snipe his villagers that easily. And perhaps this transport ship will be the equalizing play. We'll have to see, but I think that RiuT is gonna, back up a little bit here and just try and take the little victories.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing is, since RiuT lost his scout to that galley earlier on, his scout cavalry is not providing vision on this, massive island here on the far left-hand side. I think this is why players sometimes prefer to have, a smaller, squarer island, less sort of surface area, I guess, to land. Viper here moving in on the far left side, and it seems like we're going to see some kind of a landing come into play. It's a risky move to make a landing, but since he's not really got very good fish, since he seems to be falling behind on the water already, he may as well go for it. And RiuT here, looking great. He might even find some villagers on these berries. But Viper going to get back, and RiuT going to keep just kind of pushing this army here, trying to take the fight with the galleys, try and keep pushing that advantage.
Both players just have such an island that is very, very vulnerable to a landing. There's just so much actually extra land at the front for both of them. RiuT has this huge little jutting thing on the left, and the Viper's blob is also equally vulnerable. And the Viper is going to land with those 3 villagers. He's going to put down 2 archer ranges, 3 archer ranges, and start spamming some archers.
3? I don't see that. Maybe I'm a little bit behind you. Maybe I'm a little behind. Oh, I am a little bit behind. Hold on a second. It appears
19?
you are a little above. Yeah, I'm at 19 minutes now. Now I see the archery ranges. Fantastic. All right.
So it might feel like 5 seconds ahead.
Yeah. So the interesting thing here is if you look at the food graph, RiuT's slightly ahead on food, but really it's marginal advantage for him. But RiuT already going up to the castle age right now. So this is going to be a really interesting point in the game because RiuT's going to be fetched as a castle. It's almost certain that he will start to win the water once he reaches the castle age. But the question is, will the Viper be able to do a lot of damage with these archers at the back? These 3 ranges. It's going to be a lot of archer production. And if RiuT doesn't see this, he could lose a ton of villagers, he could get zoned off his gold, and he could be in for a really bad time.
Yep, RiuT is just waiting for that War Galley upgrade, waiting for Bodkin Arrow to seal the deal here. But while he attacks that dock, he is going to take a lot of free damage on his own guys. And the Viper also put a 4th dock down at the left side of his island to try and get something out of his fishing ships. But again, nothing but shorefish there. Quite unfortunate, but the Viper on his way to Castle 2.
Yeah, he is on the way up, but it is a lot later, isn't it? It's nearly 2 minutes later than RiuT right here, and obviously that is because these 3 villagers have been sent on a voyage like none other to go and land those archery ranges down, and in come the archers right now. Now, RiuT's up to the castle age, but he has no barracks. He is not prepared for this. He's throwing up a university, and oh my goodness, you're right. He doesn't have loom. Dead villagers gonna be they're dropping like flies. 4 villagers, 5 villagers, 6 villagers down on the gold, and oh goodness me, RiuT panicking now, deleting the university, deleting his lumber camp. He's like, get me a new TC, get me some protection. Loom coming in, but those villagers are dropping so fast. And that TC, oh, that TC, Loom is done thankfully, but my goodness me, that is bad for RiuT right here.
That is some devastating raiding there. 50 gold goes a long way to protect your villagers from that archer harassment. It makes all the difference in the world there, and RiuT lost so many villagers for free, but still, his saving grace, he got to Castle Age first. He already has War Galley. He already has Bodkin Arrow, but the Viper, grabbing that scale barding armor, he's up to no good.
Yeah, well, you know, the easiest counter here for RiuT is a Mangonel. Viper anticipates that entirely, completely knows what's going on. Mangonel's gonna come out, Viper's gonna have a knight ready and waiting to take him out. But it's worth noting that on the water right now, RiuT has taken down the fishing ships of the Viper. He has started to take down those docks, but is it really worth it? Is that enough? Well, I don't know, he's got the score lead. Maybe that is telling us something.
Yeah, in Empire Collective Cup Game 3, land meets the sea as the Viper with an incredibly different approach to this game. He's basically all in on the land. Meanwhile, his entire base is on fire, getting shelled from the ocean. Can he apply enough pressure here? He might actually be able to, as I really think it caught RiuT off guard.
Oh, definitely, and I'm really disappointed here because RiuT should have at least expected some kind of land attempt. He lost his scout, he was winning the water, and those are the 2 kind of, situations where a landing could certainly happen. But RiuT here, I don't know, it looks like he can take down the Viper's TC from the water. He's got the range, and if he can do that, he could really set the Viper back a little bit. So he's going to have to hold out as much as he can. His Mangonel, though, it's gonna get sniped, and oh my goodness me, RiuT is in trouble right now.
Yeah, RiuT does not have a safe answer to this unmangonel. The mangonel outranging that town center, 7 to 6 range. He needs to have a defensive mangonel to take that out, but those knights deny it. I love that play from the Viper, and the Viper will lose a bunch of crossbows trying to sneak past that town center. RiuT on point, sniping a couple of them. But meanwhile, all those villagers are idle. RiuT's in deep trouble.
Once again, I mean, Viper just reads this game like a book, doesn't he? It's unbelievable. RiuT here, you know, he could make another mangonel. He's going to do that just now, but that is a lot of idle villagers right there. But, you know, saving grace, he's still got some food income on the water from his fishing ships. He still has wood income on the right side, and now he's going to try and take some stone. Who knows, maybe a tower or something like that. Sadly, unable to finish that monastery. He's obviously looking for monks to convert the knights and turn them against the Viper here, but without the monastery completing, that's not going to happen. But hey, the mangonel's going to come out. Maybe he could take these crossbows down or something like that. I mean, this TC looks like it's going to be a goner at this rate. Oh, he's going to trade for the mangonels. That's not going to happen.
Oh man, that mangonel shot's gonna miss, and that mangonel will once again die for free with the Viper's knights.
Oh no, RiuT. Oh, RiuT. This is bad news for him. Another mangonel lost. And, you know, he can afford to make yet another one, but, you know, he's struggling to get any monks out here. The TC, he's abandoning ship. He knows he can't save that this time around. Meanwhile, you know, he's going for the Viper's TC here, but nowhere near as fast. Viper building a second TC back at home. He looks like he's too far ahead, but still, RiuT retains the score lead. And I think the score here is so deceiving. It's only because he has water control, and that is probably not going to be enough to win him the game.
Yeah, the military population for RiuT is certainly a bit inflated, and the Viper's blob strategy here working out great as he has another town center coming up in the middle of the map, completely out of range of all of RiuT's war galleys, making it so that when RiuT commits this heavily to a navy, he can't get that much value out of it. He has his war galleys all around the Viper's island, but there's nothing to kill. Meanwhile, he's losing ground rapidly.
Yeah, and Viper's bringing out some monks of his own as well, so don't even think about making some knights here, RiuT. That is not going to happen. But hey, he gets one of these mangonels, and now he's going for a castle. Viper, will he spot this? Of course he will. What is he going to be able to do to stop it? Well, he's going to try everything. RiuT going to try and quick wall this up, stop these units getting around. He's got his war galleys here on the left-hand side, but those knights, they're certainly going to be able to close the gap. Viper here, killing villagers so easily with his mangonels. Oh, RiuT, he's going back. He can't afford to lose another mangonel, but he has. Oh. This is unbelievable, and RiuT, he doesn't want to lose this. He doesn't want to give in, but his villagers are being massacred right now. Viper is just too good.
What a forward. I was asking myself throughout the last like 5 minutes, what exactly could RiuT do to claw his way back in the game, and he might actually get the castle up.
He's gonna get the castle.
Even if this didn't work, I like it.
He's gonna get it, and that is something, right? That is something.
What
He's at 28 bills. He's at 28 bills. Viper's on 53. But hey, RiuT here with a bit more wood income. He's going to lose more bills back here. This is just no good. He's got so little space. He's got so little space. He's got so little anything right now. RiuT desperately clinging on. And his score is still ahead.
It is.
Oh,
no, like the only thing that RiuT could have maybe done here was a desperate defensive castle, and he did manage to get it up, but the question is, what exactly is this castle protecting? And the answer is really, like, not that much. The Viper sort of camping that wood at the back, and, well, RiuT is going to put down a second town center, so that castle does allow for that, and now the Viper actually getting pushed back. Is RiuT actually going to be fine here?
Well, this would be a fantastic comeback, and I can really only hope that he does come back from this, because I want to see more games. I'm not happy. I'm not content with what we've seen so far. We need more of this. But yeah, Viper's trying to retake the water right now. He's doing war galley, and RiuT, he's in a really weak position. He doesn't have a huge amount of wood income at the moment. He doesn't have, his economy really very well set up for water anymore, but he needs to stop these docks from going up, and he needs to stop Viper here from being able to get back on the water, because really that's the one thing that's keeping RiuT in this game. The fact that he has water control is about the only thing keeping him in the game right now, and if he loses that, then he is going to basically be, it's going to be over. So RiuT here, he's going to be feeling the heat. Viper's still got crossbows in his economy, but if he can just start taking these docks down and hang on to that water control, then that might be what he needs. But this is going to be so tough. He's got to do something to kill these crossbows back at home.
The worst part for RiuT is that he just doesn't have a siege workshop anymore. He can't make a mangonel to go clear out those crossbows, and the Viper trying his best to just starve RiuT of wood entirely, and, well, he might be able to. I think one of the other things that kept RiuT back in this game is, he was able to pull back some of his own war galleys to go defend his own island, and I guess his little noodly thing allows his navy much easier time at actually defending his own base, but he needs to blow up that mangonel.
Yeah, he's got to take this mangonel down. He can't lose another TC, so the siege workshop will come up from RiuT here. And you see he's taking so much gold. I reckon he's going to be buying resources from the market right now as a temporary solution to this. But yeah, the Noodly Island certainly helping RiuT a little bit. But hey, Viper's finally taking that score lead, and I think RiuT's going to be feeling pretty demotivated right now. But come on, RiuT, he's got to pull this back. He has to.
Oh man, and boy was he threatening to actually stabilize there for a minute, but RiuT losing his ace in the hole, his score. That's the biggest thing that's keeping him in this game, and now that he's behind 600 points,
Viper's
RiuT is
docks.
in trouble.
And Viper on the left side, his docks here, so many docks coming up, and look at this. He's got double the villages of RiuT once again. Viper will retake the water. There's no question about it, RiuT will take down the docks on the right side. Viper's just going to rebuild them on the left, and Viper's even going to convert the galleys on the back of RiuT's base right now. So, yeah, I mean, RiuT is in trouble, let's be honest. And Mangonel now might be able to save this TC for a while with an attack ground. But, I don't know, delaying the inevitable, I guess, at this point, sadly.
I'd have to agree with you there, as no wood, no service. That market, this castle, it's all very cute, but it might not actually be enough here. However, what might be enough is a second castle. We'll have to see. Will this mangonel die for free? It will!
Yeah, down it goes, and I think I'm behind you a little bit once again, but I will catch up. But it's okay.
Here, I'll slow down for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm back up. So yeah, that castle coming up, and once again, like you say, what is this castle really achieving? It's just giving RiuT a little bit of his land back, but like you said earlier, his Noodly Island, it's now not going to be too good for him. Now Viper's retaking the water. Viper has ballistics, by the way, which is going to make it a lot easier for him to engage and take an advantage. Not only does he have the numbers advantage, but he also has ballistics right now. But it's going to be much easier for Viper to protect these TCs. They can't be damaged from the water. Whereas RiuT's spindly base, it can be harassed from every angle, basically. Viper, he's got this, and sadly, RiuT calling GG.
Wow. That was oh my god, this is such a scary, scary game there for RiuT. He was threatening at multiple opportunities to claw his way back in and maybe stabilize, and he was so close, but not quite.
Yeah, sadly, just no comeback here. The comeback certainly not Teal today, and I feel really sad about that. I was really hoping that RiuT may have just got at least a game here. I was so hoping that would happen, but this time around, RiuT once again bested by the Viper. He could just not get himself that victory and that comeback, and it is such a shame. But congratulations to the Viper. I think we should really highlight that. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, while it's unfortunate that the series was not so close, it certainly wasn't close because, well, the Viper just played incredibly well. He had such a smooth series here, and even though, there were a couple of shaky moments, there were a lot of decisive victories as well. The Viper put on one great show, and I think he certainly deserved this win. Congratulations.
Yes, definitely. And, he is just a force to be reckoned with. He is not only the immovable object, but he is also the unstoppable force. He is all of those things, and maybe more as well. Yeah, seriously, Viper here just taking the biscuit, really. He made it look easy, and that is just what he does. I'm still waiting for the day that someone is thoroughly going to hand his ass to him, and it seems like a lot of players have a long way to go in order to be able to do that. As, RiuT, one of the best players in the world right now, still unable to get that elusive victory from him.
Yeah, the Game 3 was one heck of a nail-biter.
Yeah, it was Yeah, after that early advantage from RiuT, I was so hopeful that maybe he'd just be able to cling on to that, and he did for a while. But Viper's landing was fantastic. He really went all in on that landing. Not very often do you see a landing, a commitment to a landing like that. 3 archery ranges, 2 stables, a siege workshop, and a monastery. I mean, he went all in on that, and it worked. It worked. It very nearly didn't work, but it did work.
Yeah, it just goes to show that a Vikings mirror on the water is not just about galleys.
Exactly. And Viper giving a very good example of that. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. It's much appreciated. A huge thank you as well to Search Engine Revs for providing $1,000 to the prize pool of this event. They are awesome, and you should definitely check them out. They're an SEO company that helps you to be found on the web. Whatever it is you're doing, if you have a product, or if you have anything that you make, anything that you do, if you want it to be found, Search Engine Revs is the way to get it found. And if you want to give them a look, I'll give them... sorry, that link is on the screens below the video, all that good stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. It is much appreciated. I was really hoping we'd see that 4th and 5th game here, but sadly not.
Yep, indeed, it is going to be 0-3 for the Viper.
Indeed. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly update the scoreboard here, and that'll be a 3-0 victory for the Viper. We'll show you guys the Platinum League table. Now, I know this is the finals. There are actually still a couple of games to come. MBL needs to play versus VH, I believe. But yeah, you can see that Viper takes it with a 10-match win and 1 tie, leaving him on 31 points. RiuT there with 9 match wins, 1 tie, and 1 loss, leaving him on 28 points in a solid 2nd place, but sadly not enough to take the victory. Viper will be the champion of the Empire Collective Cup. I guess we need some victory music, don't we?
That we do.
Yeah, let's put some good victory music. I'm sure